Hello everyone, let's continue on our series. So today we will be working on the user management tab. We'll be adding up new button and creating a new interface to add new users. So let's start on to that. Okay, let's bring up the toolbox for now, and then we'll get a button from the system to Windows forms. Let's make it a little bit smaller, and then we'll have the button somewhere here, and then we'll give it a name called button add, and the text will be add user. Okay, now we have our button. We will do our anchor of, instead of top left, we'll be doing the top right, and then we'll be handling a click event to this button. So let me hide that, and then change the name to be button add. And then what we will do is, on click of the button, we will display a new form which accepts a couple of parameters. So let's do that. Let's create a new view, which is going to be Windows Forms view called add user dialog. And this will inherit from base dialog, base form. Okay, so if we look into the designer, there's nothing, but we will change the title of this first. So let's not change the name. The text will be add a user, and then we'll have a couple of toolbox items. So let's find the toolbox items, not that. That one. First we will have a label. Okay, let's drag the label over here, and then we will call it, not the name, the text is going to be email. Let's look into our model. What are the things we want? So first name, last name, and email. Okay, let's go back to this dialog. So instead of saying it, let's copy it multiple times and copy and paste again. Let's call it first name. This is going to be last name, and this is going to be email. Let's enable the auto size for all of those, and similar to that. Now let's get a couple of text boxes, expand that, and then where is our text box? That's the text box we want. So let's put it here, and it will contain our first name. That's going to be our last name, and then lastly, this is going to be our email. Okay, let's do some formatting. Almost there. And then last name and email goes there. Okay, let's move that a little bit to the top. Okay, and similarly email goes a little bit to the top. Now let's add another button. This is going to be called save user. And then let's add another button which will say cancel. Now let's put it side by side, and this one is going to be called button save, and this is going to be called button cancel. Okay, let's add click events to these two buttons. Okay, on click of the save, we will fire up this event. Similarly, on click of the cancel button, we'll fire up this event. Okay, now let's go and on click, we are on the user management tab. On click of the button 1, what we need to do is we will display the add user dialog. Currently these are not implemented, but we'll implement it later on. So add user dialog, add user dialog equals new user dialog, and then add user dialog that we want to do show dialog, and then this is going to be the parent. Let's see how it looks like now. Our program is running now, and then this is our login screen. Let's see what our username and password was. ABCDEF, find that one. So ABCDEF, find 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're in. So on click of this, we should be firing up this one. Okay, so it's looking good. Now all we have to do is asset first name, last name, email, and on click of the save user, we want to add this record back to this grid. So let's do that. I'm going to close this and hide this one. Let's go back to this and let's handle button save first. So button save with a B capital, similar thing here. What we want to do is validate the form. So private void each form valid. And then what we want to do is, instead of private that one, we want to return a boolean, return true, just for something. Private bool is first name valid. So in here we want to check must enter and username, sorry, first name, and cannot be greater than 10 characters for now. If string that is null or empty, txt, let's go back and give it some name. So this is called txt first name. This will be called txt last name, and this will be called text txt email. Let's go back to the code. Now if txt first name, the text is null or empty, then we want to show some error. So warning, display warning, please first name, and then we want to focus back to the first name text box. Dot focus, return false. Okay. Similarly, if text is first name dot text dot length is greater than 8, then we want to complain again. So warning, sorry, instead of 8 it's 10. First name cannot be greater than 10 characters. This is just for the test purpose. I guess in the live system you'll have more than 10 characters, but this is what we'll play with. Text first name dot focus, return still false, otherwise return true. Okay, similarly let's validate the last name. I'm going to duplicate that. It's last name valid. So similar condition, last name. So please enter your last name, and then last name cannot be greater than that, and then return true. And then let's validate our email. Is email field valid? Okay, must enter. So let's say that to be last name. So must enter an email. So let's say that to be text email. Please enter an email and then text email that focus and return false. Instead of doing that, we will validate for a valid email address. So remove that and then we will use return. So new email address attribute. So let's get that. We will add a package called system.component model.data attributions annotations, and then yeah, that is valid, and then we will give text email.text. Okay, that's our validation. So let's add that now here. Instead of returning true, is first name valid and is last name valid and is email valid. So that's what we're going to do. So on the click of the button, if is not its form valid, then we want to return back without any complaints. Otherwise, we'll display something full instead of full for response equals message box dot show. Are you sure you want to add this user? And then save user. It's going to be a OK button. Sorry, not the OK button, yes, no. And then it's going to be a question. And if response equals no, then we want to return back. Otherwise, we will create a public variable called not that public, not again that user is new user, and then what we will do is new user equals new user, and then give it those variables. First name is going to be text first name dot text, last name is going to be text last name dot text, and email is going to be text email dot text. And then we want to hide ourselves, so we'll say dialog result equals OK. Now let's go back to the form 1 and then take the result, and if result equals OK, then we want to add that user that we just created to our list. So what we will do is list view main dot add object, which is going to be result, not the result, add user dialog dot new user. Okay, let's give it a test. Okay, our program is running. Let's give it a password. ABCDEF 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, we're in. Then on the add of the user, we want to give it its first name, test, and test at test.com, and then save the user. Yes, and there you go. We just added our test. Now we want to do a couple of things like test one, test 2, and then give it a invalid email at test.com, save that, and then it does not like it because we have not handled a condition to display a message box, which we will be doing in here. So instead of returning that for result equals that, if not result If not result, then we want to display a warning. So let's do this warning, not that. Please enter a valid email, and then we want to do the same thing, text email dot focus, and then we want to return false. Okay, otherwise we want to return true. Okay, let's apply the changes. Okay, our changes has applied. Now let's see what we get. Save user, and then we get please enter a valid email. So let's fix it. test.com, save the user, and yes, there you go. We now have our user. Next thing what we would do is we would view the details of the user. So to view the details of the user, we will use the same add user dialog, but present the details to the user, but will not allow them to save. So let's write that.